Yeah, it's about the bag with the triple single crew. We got Ronnie, Doc, Antonio, the real deal too. They coming and dropping knowledge, you know that they get to work. You know that triple single cover Bay Area sports. You know I'm coming hard, I don't feel like I'm in a hurry. Like number 30, I really got the range like Stephen Curry. Get a couple rings and
Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is the triple single crew. I'm Real Deal. I got my guy Doc, Antonio, and Ronnie with me. Make sure you follow us on Twitter and Instagram at TSC Bay Area. That's right. I like the shirt. I'm digging it. Hey, I got my guys back here too, and the bobbleheads. That's right. I got the Cueto one right here. He shimmies. So yeah, thank you guys so much. Make sure you subscribe to the channel as always. Leave us a like, leave us some comments. And we had some really great discussion last week. We got some more good stuff for you guys this week. So let's get right into it because you fellas are already wearing the Dubs colors. And so that's going to be our topic today and of this week. So my question to you guys is, did Bob Meyers make the team better or did he make the team worse at the deadline? What do you think, Doc?
So I think what's interesting is that Bob Meyers went on, I think it was the game, 95.7 the game, and he was participating in an interview, and he communicated that he wanted to be aggressive at the deadline. He wanted to see how he could better the team and make sure that he could put in the right guys for the end stretch, right, in hopes to get into the playoffs. And one thing he did, right, which I was really happy about, was trading Brad Wanamaker. I mean, that in itself gives Bob Meyers a lot of points. However, I do think that he missed an opportunity to get some type of assets for Kelly Oubre, who after the deadline said a few things that were very concerning. One, he said that Bob Meyers or nobody on the Warriors talked to him throughout that timeline, right? Which I would think you would want to do, whether it's just being open and saying, hey, we do got some offers for you. We are going to consider them. But just know that we hope that we can keep you and that these offers don't blow us away because we actually really enjoy the way that you fit into our team, not just now, but hopefully long term. And then Kelly Oubre was asked about him possibly coming back next year off the bench because Steve Kerr said something along the lines of, oh, I'm glad Kelly's here. Maybe next year he'll still be on our team and come off the bench. And Kelly responded, I can offer way more than coming off the bench. And to me, that says he's not coming back if that's the role that you're expecting him to fall into. And that's concerning because he was an asset, maybe not the best asset at the trade deadline. I heard there were some rumors about maybe trading him for Spencer Dinwiddie, who I know is hurt this year and does have a player option as well. So he could have exercised it in the offseason and then we would have ended up with nothing. But I don't know that keeping Kelly Oubre was the right call. I know we haven't specifically gone into that yet, but I think that's the one that's probably going to come into most Dubs fans' mind when they think about the deadline is why is Kelly Oubre still on our team? Was that the right call? And I don't think it was. Last thing I'll say about Kelly Oubre is that during the games I've been watching since the trade deadline, I don't know if it's just me. I could be overanalyzing, but he does not look to have that same just look in his eye of enjoyment. He kind of looks like he's just moping around on the court. He caught fire yesterday against the Bucks. That was nice to see. He hit some big threes down in the fourth quarter down the stretch, which was encouraging. But he just seems like that energy and passion that he brought during that first half of the season, I feel like it's missing. And maybe it's because he's already thinking about his next steps in his career, and it doesn't include the Warriors. So, right, on a human level, I understand why he's not going all out. Why risk hurting yourself when you're actually looking for a big payday?
Yeah, no, totally.
Yeah.
What do you think, Ron?
He literally said it all. Bob Meyers being aggressive at the trade deadline, and looking at it now, like ever since the trade deadline happened, like Doc said, Kelly Oubre's been playing, at his best. And, with that interview, just him saying that he believes that he can offer a lot more than coming off the bench. I think he can. I mean, after that Maverick game, I think it was like 40-something points he had. He caught fire, but then the trade deadline and then, not communicating, which, you have to do sometimes. But after that, he just hasn't been playing his absolute best. So I think not trading him at the deadline was probably not a good move because the way he's been playing, it looks like he might want to move on from Golden State. So,
yeah, it's a good call. And I think some of it too is he's just a streaky player. That's kind of how I see it. Kind of like Wiggins. Yep. And we talked about this. If Wiggins and him are on, the Warriors usually win. Yeah. It's kind of like that whole thing with Draymond we used to have a few years back. It's like if Draymond hits 2 threes, the Warriors never lose. Well, if Wiggins and Oubre both score about 18 points, we pretty much haven't lost this year. But the problem is that they're both so hot and cold. And I do kind of agree with you on coming off the bench, Doc. And I think maybe that kind of stuff, like you have to be careful. And I think Kerr hasn't done a good enough job, and neither has Bob Meyers this year, of making sure that those things don't get out, so that you're not putting a weird narrative out there. And then the players are like, wait a minute, like what's going on? Because to me, what it says is that Kerr puts Wiggins above Oubre, because let's assume you keep both. Clay comes
those
back
are the two
in.
guys.
Yeah, because that's the thing. You have to take someone out to bring Clay back into the fold, right? So that's what that means to me. And then, secondly, I think Kerr is still searching for that Andre Iguodala figure, right? I mean, and that's the thing. So but it's not easy. Like maybe Oubre does want to start. Maybe he sees himself as a starter. Every guy has different egos. And also he's much younger than Andre was. Like when we brought Andre over, Andre was what,
he was
31,
like 31,
32?
31.
Yeah. So it's like, it's the guy's in a different place completely. He's in a different headspace. And so with Oubre, he's like, man, I'm 25, 26. Like I still want to play and get another big contract, So that's kind of how I see it. But to answer the question real quick, are we better or worse? It's hard to say. I think that they decided let's keep the experiment going with this group, because next year when they bring Clay back into the fold, and hopefully add a young either big or wing, they want these guys that have been playing this year to kind of have that cohesion together. So I don't know, fellas. I mean, maybe they do plan on somehow finding a way to keep Oubre and Wiggins next year. I don't know how that would be possible financially, but it's a very weird situation. You're right. If you're not going to keep the guy, you got to get something for him.
Yeah, and I know that there's already been some information being provided by some of the guys who cover the Warriors, some of their beat writers, saying that there is a possibility that the Warriors could do a sign and trade with Oubre in the offseason because they do still hurt his bird rights. So that's what I'm thinking Bob Meyers probably had in his back pocket, is even if Oubre doesn't want to stay, even if it doesn't work out here, we can still offer him the biggest contract and then send it to whatever team, right, wants to sign him, and maybe get some assets that way. So that's a possibility. But again, just to also answer the question, I don't think Bob Meyers made the team any better. If anything, I do think he has made it worse, because during this trade deadline, I think it was a possibility to also just reanalyze the roster as a whole. And there's guys on there that don't need to be on there. I'm sorry, but the Alan Smiley experiment probably isn't going to work out anymore. And mind you, I'm a big fan of Smiley, but if you're not going to play him, then what's the point? Like,
yeah, I don't
he's
understand
not getting
that.
any PT.
Yeah, I don't get that.
Yeah, so and I want to hear your insight on that too, Real Deal. But then you have another guy who's like Mulder, who's not playing anymore either. So why not cut at least Mulder? Let's say Smiley, you want to keep him because he's still young. Let's cut Mulder. Let's bring another big man. Just having Looney and Wiseman as the big man rotation, that's irresponsible as a team that's still wanting to get into the playoffs. Like, come on now. You need at least another big man for when Looney's struggling, or when Looney gets hurt, or when Wiseman's in foul trouble. At least another big body. There's somebody out there that could probably come in and get some rebounds. Come on now. And the fact that that wasn't even identified, I know it's such a small thing because it probably wouldn't have been anyone overly impactful, but just having an extra useful body already is a difference maker than whatever Mulder is offering at this point in the season.
Yeah, I think you got to maximize these roster spots, right? Like JTA, we talk a lot about him. Like he maximizes his opportunity, and you're maximizing that guy on your roster because he can play multiple positions. He can score a little bit. He can pass. He's a great rebounder. He's just undersized. But to me, what's really hurt, and like you brought this up, if Wiseman's in foul trouble and Looney's in foul trouble, who do you go to? You're really small. And so losing, Eric Pascal, I mean, having him get hurt, then you're really thin in the front court. And so, yeah, I agree with you. Like to have no plan, even for this year, whether you think you're going to get in the play-in game or not, they're saying they are. I don't know. Like, that's the thing. That's why I put it it's like a question mark, which is worse than, for me, it's even worse than me saying that they did worse during this second half as far as the trade deadline, because
Yeah.
you don't want to have this many question marks going into the offseason. I mean, okay, you get Clay back, but we don't know how good Clay is going to be when he comes back. Let's be really honest. We assume Clay is going to be close to who he was, but who knows, right? So like you said, who's going to be your other big? You're going to need another big. You pointed out Mulder is a guy you can cut. I hate to say this because I know a lot of Warriors fans love him, but Looney is another guy who the only reason he's on the team, let's be really honest, is because you don't have any other big. But in terms of what he gives you on a night in and night out basis, it's just not enough. You don't have a big that can rebound or score after Wiseman. You don't. And Wiseman, like we said, he's 20 years old. And he's still trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
So, I think they're trying to answer a lot of questions through the draft, but, and we'll get into this coming up soon, but you were not in any position right now to pick a really impactful player. So.
Yeah. And the last thing I'll say, circling back to the Kelly Oubre conversation, I think another reason he wouldn't want to come off the bench is because it's not a guarantee that we're even a championship contending team. I think if we were rolling the way that we were before, then Kelly would have been like, sign me up. I'll be the sixth man for this team if it's going to get me a ring. But does he really want to be a sixth man for a team that might be a 7-6 seed even next year, right? Again, because it's all dependent on Klay Thompson's health and who we pick up in the draft and who we might be able to add in the offseason and the development of Wiseman. Because remember, Curry, for as much as we love him, Draymond, for as much as we love him, and Klay, as much as we love him, they're getting older, right? Their bodies have taken a beating from playing in 5 straight finals. Like that's a lot, of basketball. And we've seen just how injury prone they've become, even with the most minor stuff, right? Now the tailbone of Curry, who could have ever expected that, right? But they're human. And so we definitely do just need to start putting a plan in place that's going to put us in position to still be successful moving forward. But I know we're kind of getting close to the end of this segment. Ronnie, do you want to give any last thoughts, just feelings, perspective?
For me, I think definitely like a question mark that Bob Meyers did was trading away Marquise Chris. That could have been a solid backup that the Warriors could have, like if you didn't want Looney. So Wiseman's in foul trouble or Kevon Looney's in foul trouble. You put in Marquise Chris. I know he was hurt, so that's probably why they traded him away. But I don't think they got better or worse. I think they just kept the same team. But I know Doc's happy that they traded Wanamaker away. So we'll see what happens with that draft pick because I know that draft pick is going to be huge. So
yeah. Great point there, Ron. I mean, to me, it's about, if you're going to get rid of a guy like Chris, you're already thin at the big. You had a really skilled big, and we talked about it. I'm a big fan of Marquise Chris. I thought he could be a big part of your plans coming in next year, splitting time with Wiseman. And as you mentioned, Doc, including in your solo takes, Wiseman is still a question mark. He's still a developmental kid. And so you really did want to have, or you need to have another skilled big that can score, that can rebound. And right now this roster doesn't have one.
I mean, my hope is that maybe, because I know they traded him to the Spurs, Marquise Chris, and they released him. So my hope is that he wants to come back next year. He knows our system.
So.
He's not learning a new system. He's not playing with a new team. So that means he's not building any extra connections or camaraderie. So my hope is that he knew it was just a business, part of the game, and he's wanting to come back next year, knowing that he'll have a pretty high rotation spot unless we add another significant big man.
Yeah, hope so. All right. Well, with that, you guys, I think we're going to wrap it up for this episode, but thank you so much once again for liking and subscribing to our channel. And make sure, there you go, Chef Curry. Make sure you go ahead and leave us a like and comment below as well, and follow us on Twitter and Instagram. Thanks so much. See you guys next time.
See y'all.